Hi, everybody. So I said I was going to come on here and talk about homeschooling high school, and I'm going to start with how do you plan to homeschool high school? Well, the way that I start out planning homeschooling high school is to start with a course outline. Okay. And from the course outline, this is the foundation in which all my planning hinges off of. So this is like basically phase one. First, you want to decide with your student. As you can see from my course outline here, this says college track. This is a template of what I do with all my high schoolers. Okay, and I've actually done this for a couple of friends as well. But essentially, what you want to do is you want to decide your track. When you're in high school, you might not realize or recognize that you were on a track, but because sometimes your counselors do it or your teachers, and you don't even know it. But you're on a college preparatory track, you're on a vocational track. Um, there's like a standard track, and then there's like a remedial track. Okay, so you need to decide like what track is your student on. Okay, in the case of this example I'm about to give you is a college track. My first two high schoolers, my 10th grader, my rising 10th grader, and the daughter I just graduated, they're college track kids. My third teenager, who is going into 8th grade, when she goes into ninth, she'll be on um, a track to get an associate's through dual enrollment before she graduates. So she's on a 2-year track, which a lot of people call it a trade school track. So she's going for vocational. So we kind of already know that. You may not know, and in that case, I would go with a standard track. A standard track will mean that you plan your course outline, typical to what the local public school would for regular courses, not AP standard, not honor standard, um, just like straight down the middle. What do in your state? What do children typically take before they graduate? Okay, so that they can basically get into like a state college. So you kind of want to look at, instead of looking at high school graduation requirements to your board of education, because those are specific to the public school system. You want to look at that, but you also need to look directly at college requirements themselves. So if you're planning like I did a 4-year college track, what I did was I went to a lot of our intended the schools that we intended to apply to as far as so I went to a lot of the different colleges websites and saw what were the requirements that they needed for incoming freshmen. Most schools, it's pretty standard across the board. They want to see 4 math, 4 English credits, 3 social sciences or social studies. Uh, in my state of Georgia, they require 4 sciences through the public school, but some colleges just want to see 3 sciences with a lab, two with a lab and just a third science. But to be competitive and on par with students in my area, we went ahead with the 4 sciences. So we see, like as you can see, 4 science, 4 English, 3 social sciences, 4 sciences, 2 foreign languages. I'm sorry, two. They have to be the same foreign language, like the basically like part one, part two of the same foreign language. I put a half a credit of fine arts. This is not a requirement. Like after that, basically every outside of like the health and physical education, I would say that everything else is pretty much an elective credit. But for our school, I typically saw that people had about probably at least a half credit, which is a semester of a fine art. Health and physical education, usually you have half a semester of health and a half a semester of PE. And then there's, I put driver's ed down as a half a credit because my children actually take driver's ed um, through, they took it through dual enrollment. And they also have, and then I put down 4 electives because that's about the average amount of electives. So that's about 23 credits. Some people get way more credits than that in high school. When I graduated high school, I personally graduated with like 27 credits. I actually didn't need all of those credits. A lot of my electives were fillers because I needed to be in school for 4 Englishes, and literally they told me I couldn't get dismissed out of school but is like after English class. So I had to take like a bunch of dummy classes after the English class in order to stay until at least noon. Go figure, right? But we don't have to deal with that because we're in homeschool. But those are the type of things that, we don't have to worry about anymore. But back to what I was saying. So essentially here we are, like I said. So let's say typically in homeschool, I have seen that people start Algebra 1 in 8th grade, some even 7th grade, okay? Now, is it necessary to start Algebra 1 before 9th grade? No, it is not. And I have done it both ways. So, because like I said, I have a rising 10th grader and I have a child that just graduated. So you don't have to start Algebra 1 until 9th grade, but they have to start Algebra 1 by 9th grade if you're going towards college. Okay. But like I said, most homeschoolers tend to take it in about between 7th and 8th grade. They take Algebra 1, which means that they'll go into 9th grade. So I put that under early high school credits. The courses that I consider worthy of putting on your transcript as early high school credits are math, science, and foreign language. Anything that's not math, science, and foreign language, I feel like won't get taken seriously in my experience from looking into colleges and stuff like that. But it is typical that if you took biology as an 8th grader, you took it at the high school level, you could put that down on a transcript. You took algebra or geometry for that matter. In my son's case, he took Algebra 1 and geometry before 9th grade. He's a little bit further ahead in his math track. So, basically after that, you just kind of go in a row. You say, you just plan it out. Algebra 1, then typically you take geometry in between those. So that's 9th grade. And then you're going to take Algebra 2. Now, Algebra 2, I'm going to put or college. I'm going to put DE for dual enrollment. College algebra, which is Algebra 2 equivalent. Because that's how I do it in my homeschool, but you don't have to. And then 11th grade, you take pre-calculus. And right there, you can stop. That's 4 math credits, right? But my oldest was trying to make herself available to this one particular school that has a way more engineering majors than, even though she wasn't going into engineering, she's going into a different type of science. Just to be competitive for that school, she went ahead and she took Calc 1. So she took Calculus 1. But like I said, we could have stopped there and we would have been done with our math requirements in 11th grade. Like I said, the other way to do that would be to do Algebra 1 in 9th grade, not as an early high school credit, and then you will end in pre-calc. So laying all your math out, you'll see what math class you'll end at, and you'll know if you're going to be on par with other students who are applying to the types of schools that you're trying to apply to. You get what I'm saying? So I hope that helps. And then for English, I don't do early English credits. So for English, I just start with 9th grade English language arts, right? Or you can just say English language arts 1, English language arts 2, 3, 4. That's another way to label it. But let's see here. So you lay that out. Excuse my typing, I'm misspelling. I'll go back and fix that. And let's say here I want to start dual enrollment. So I'm going to put advanced English composition and rhetoric, which the name of that course on her college transcript for dual enrollment will say English composition rhetoric 1101. or 101 or something like that, right? But here on the high school transcript, it's an advanced course. It's not AP, so you don't put advanced placement, but you do. I do notate on there that it's advanced, because when you do go and make your transcript, it will hold a different weight. Okay, so then I want to put advanced English composition. No, advanced English literature. Sorry, I think that's the second class, literature and composition. Every school is going to be different as far as what community college that you're dealing with in regards to that. Okay. Um, but like I said, this is my college track kid, and we do utilize dual enrollment. If you're not utilizing dual enrollment, like I said, you're just going to put in those spots ninth grade English, 10th grade English, 11th grade English, 12th grade English, and those are your 4 English classes. See, right now we're not talking about curriculum. Okay, this is not the curriculum conversation. Then the next things you want to do for the social sciences, we know that they need to have a world history, an American history, and American government. Sometimes they do American government and economics. Those are the typical courses. You can do those 9th, 10th, 11th, or you can do it 10th, 11th, 12th. It doesn't matter. You can just type that in there. That's what you put there, right? So let's just say in 9th grade, my son, he decided he didn't want to take any of those. So he started off with world geography. And next year he's going to do world history 1. I put it like that because there's other, actually, yeah. I think world history. Yeah, I forgot how I labeled it. Whatever. I'll just put that right there. World history. Then he's going to do American history. And then American government. Which, depending on what curriculum you use, can be a full year course, or it can be a half of a year course. If it's a half a year course, you're going to put and economics, because the other semester is economics typically. If you do them as half credit, if you do that as a half credit, and then there's your 3, but they'll end up with 4. So they'll have a bonus credit. So they'll end up graduating with 24 credits if they do it like how we have it outlined here. But you only have to have the 3. Okay. That's all that's necessary. Now your sciences, typically you start off your 9th grade year with biology, and you want to put that with a lab component because that's typical. Okay. And then your chemistry, you have to pay attention to your math. You don't want to take your chemistry until you're at least going into algebra 2. Okay. So let's say you were taking geometry 10th grade year. You might want to hold off chemistry till 11th grade when you're taking algebra 2. I just letting you know that math and science go hand in hand once you go beyond biology. Okay, biology, I notice it really doesn't matter. Okay, but for chemistry and physics, you want to make sure that you're beyond algebra 2. Okay, and if you haven't gotten to at least pre-calc, you probably don't want to take physics at all. You probably want to take more like a physical science or an environmental science or some other science that's not physics. Okay, just letting you know. So for this kid, they can do chemistry with lab. And I will do this one. I don't teach this, so I do that as a dual enrollment class. And in my state, we get free dual enrollment, 30 credits after for 11th and 12th grade. Anything before that, we pay out of pocket, but it's at a discounted rate. But I'm okay with paying for that because I don't teach chemistry. It's not my forte. It's not my ministry. Okay. Then let's say that my oldest daughter, she did physics in 12th grade. Don't recommend it, but that's when she did it. And then you could just put physics. That can be with or without lab. It depends on the teacher. Physics is mostly just like math, though, right? And in Georgia, we have to have, like I said, 4 sciences. So let's just say I want to go do environmental science, or maybe they could do something cool like forensic. science. This is the science I feel like you can play around with. And as a homeschooler, it can be basically anything. You can, I know a lot of people who did marine biology. That's so cool. Okay. So it's really up to you. It's your school. Your science can get as creative as you want to, but you want to have those basic biology, chemistry, physics. Okay. And then play around with your fourth one. Okay. Then for foreign language, if let's say you're doing a class of education, you can just do Latin, right? Latin 1, Latin 2, right? And let's say that, for instance, a child is doing like Memoria Press or something and they do Latin all the way through. Okay, then you want to put Latin 3 and Latin 4 and have them take the national Latin examination. And that's good to put on, on your portfolio or something like that. And let's say for fine arts in 10th grade, they take guitar lessons and you count those guitar lessons, have them log those hours that they do their practice and go to class and everything like that, and make sure that they have enough that is a half credit. So I would put that like as guitar 1, and then let's say they did guitar again, played the guitar again, took lessons in 11th grade, then that will be guitar 2. So then they'll get actually a full credit for that, let's say something like that. Or if they did like enough practice, which usually a fine art that you're just kind of like you going to like once or twice a week lessons and then you're practicing on your own, that won't usually add up by the end of the school year to be a full credit unless they're severely dedicated or like in a band or something like that. It's probably going to be about a half credit worth of time invested. So then, like I said, 9th grade, maybe I want to do the maybe that's when I want to do PE. Okay, and then maybe in 10th grade, I want to do the health. Or I could do them in the same year. I've actually done it that way too, like one semester PE, one semester health, and it's done. It is literally up to you. You can play around with it how you want to. And typically, you're going to take driver's ed somewhere around 16, 17 years old. So I don't know. Let's just say that you take it junior year. And then you can get half a credit for that, right? And then electives can be literally, we're homeschoolers. Be anything you want it to be. We do some unique stuff. I mean, your electives can be all kind of stuff. Okay, like my mind is drawing a blank right now, but it could be I don't know. Sign language, that's a foreign language too, so I'll put that there. But like, let's say, I don't know, public policy or something. Like maybe you learned how to become a lobbyist and went down to like the state capitol and you worked on that like for a semester or something. I know kids who've done that. What if you dedicate a lot of time to one of your electives can be another science, but it's an elective because it's not one of your requirements. But like maybe you did an advanced study on sea turtles or something like that, and you did that you dedicated a lot of time to it. This is where you can go typical what they do in the public school, or you can just like let your imagination fly. It is really up to you. So this is basically how you outline your course outline. Okay, then you would come in after that you know what grades you're going to do what classes. This is when you would then, you reverse plan. So you know what you're going to be doing from 9th through 12th grade. Okay. That way, all you have to do now is plug in curriculum. Okay. If you already know that I'm going to do Mr. D math for geometry, I'm going to do teaching textbooks or something like that, then you plug that in there. If you already know I'm doing IEW and fix it grammar and whatever that vocabulary that is escaping, wordly wise or something like that. I don't know. Let's say you already know that that's what you're doing for language arts. Then you put that in. If you already know that for biology, you're going to do modern biology with Memoria Press or something. For Latin, you're going to do the Latin forms or Henley Latin with Memoria or something like that. For PE, we log hours. We have a membership to the YMCA. A lot of people can get memberships for their teams through, I think, Planet Fitness and one of those other famous gyms, I think LA Fitness or something. Usually over the summer, they offer those free to students, to high schoolers. Okay. And they can log those hours. And like I said, you look up and to determine yourself how many hours logged you consider to be half credits and full credit courses. I'm not going to tell you how to do that because that is something that I notice varies, and some states have way more oversight than others. So I'm not going to get into exactly how many hours, but use your best judgment. And where your state doesn't specify, I would definitely go with something down the middle of what other states are doing for that in regards to homeschoolers. So, I hope this was helpful. I can come back more and talk about other things that you need to consider when planning, but this is the skeleton. This is the backbone. This is the spine. Okay, so if you have this, then you're good to go.